Today I'm going to show you how to make a vintage sample from scratch, suitable for J. Cole, Kendrick, or Frank Dukes type beats. The sample I make will be free to download, but more on that later. I recently dropped a sample pack, and I thought that it might be interesting to show the process behind how I create these samples by recording myself cooking up a fresh one from scratch. I enjoy a lot of aspects of music production, but for me, nothing quite compares to the satisfaction of creating that perfect loop. We're going to start off with this Wurlitzer preset. It's not something I typically use, but these kind of electric pianos are great for making vintage loops. The 200A was used by people as early as the mid-50s. And I'll start things off by laying down some root notes, working in the scale of A minor. The chords I'm making here are just based off of the root notes. Any extra notes beyond the basic triads are used to add additional color or character to the chord. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that it looks a lot more complicated than it actually is. And I'm going to add some modulation with guitar rig to give the Wurlitzer a sort of tremolo effect. Then I'll degrade the quality with RC20. Cut the lows, and add in some reverb to simulate space. What I've found with these loops is that once you have a solid melodic foundation, your main focus from then on should be mostly on layering and sound selection. The next thing I'm going to do is grab a piano, copy and paste our main melody, and then move it up an octave. Next, I think I want a string layer. And this is what I'm talking about with sound selection and layering. I'm selecting sounds commonly found in vintage recordings, and I'm not really adding any more melodic complexity on top of what we already have. I'm just playing the same notes that we've already played. Here I'm selecting notes from our chord progression that will rise and fall as I move up and down the scale between the first and second half of our progression. Again, cutting the lows, adding in a chorus effect very slightly, and throwing some reverb on it. And actually, maybe I will add a small counter melody just as the strings switch from rising to falling. And maybe a synth. And I should probably add some bass. Not getting too crazy here, just following the root notes. Actually, let's change up the end and make it a little more vibey. Get a mallet type instrument, and I'm just gonna copy and paste these notes from the piano. Open up Arcade and lay down some vocals.
Suddenly, 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 oh, why don't you oh, oh, oh. Suddenly, love you more.
Sometimes one arcade preset just isn't enough, so I'll combine the last one with this one.
Suddenly, love you more.
I'm already into
Suddenly, love you more.
no.
Throw on an EQ preset,
Suddenly,
and add some reverb. Perfect. Now I'm gonna add in some drum loops and just chop them up to make it a bit more customized. I'm also gonna keep them all pretty quiet. I just want it to act as sort of a background texture. I'll put a download link for this loop below. If you want to make a beat with it, that's completely fine. Just credit me in any uploads you make, and don't upload to any Content ID systems. If you end up selling the beat you make, you can either add me as a collaborator on BeatStars, or reach out to my email to send me my half of the profit through PayPal or something similar. In any case, let's see how the fully mixed loop turned out.